Matt with Dyer's Design and Fabrication. Today I'm messing around with this Alaskan sawmill. I actually got it off eBay. It was about $100, and what this does is it actually goes on your chainsaw and it allows you to mill down logs into usable slabs. This is just a cheap little $100 one that I got off of eBay. I mean, it's nothing special. This is actually my Poland chainsaw. It's a 20-inch, and your cutting distance from here to here, when you actually get it bolt on, it's only going to be about 14 inches. Now you can fit, I believe it's up to a 30-inch chainsaw in this one. But, I mean, this thing, it's fairly decent. It does a pretty good job. I used it yesterday for the first time and actually cut a slab with it. Or actually started to cut a slab. But, you know, you can see this. It's nothing real special. It's just, you know, just a real basic bracket here. Now, it does have, you know, some measurements and stuff right here. But, you know, I checked everything with a tape measure, and you really can't go off those. So what I do is I actually measure from the chain to the bottom of this rail right here. And I just measure, and that's how I measure my cut. Now you have to remember, this chainsaw chain is going to take out about 3/8 of an inch for every cut. So you got to kind of factor that in when you're trying to cut some lumber down. Now with this thing, I didn't get any instructions or anything with it, so it is kind of a pain in the neck to figure out if you don't really know how to put anything together. But once you get it all laid out and everything, it's pretty basic. It's fairly easy to set together. Now, when you go ahead and you decide to start using this, just make sure when you get it bolted onto your chain, see it's like a little point where it goes on the end of your bar. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set this back far enough, and you're going to want to as you tighten this down, you're going to want to check and make sure your chain still moves. Because if you don't position it right, it's going to hold your chain down and it's not going to run very well. And also, before you start using this, make sure your bar and chain oil and your gas is full before you start a cut. Because let me tell you, when you're trying to back this out of a cut because you didn't refill your stuff and you have to prime your motor and carburetor and everything again to get it running, it's not very easy. But let's get this thing fired up and I'll get you outside and we'll see how it works. Now this is actually a cut that I did yesterday. You can see what I did to kind of keep it level. This is just a 2x4 and some 3-inch nails. And I just set it down to make sure everything's level. That way I could make sure my first cut came out nice. Now, in the middle here, you know, I tried to get it as flat as possible. And when you're doing this right here, if you have a big gap, you know, I put these boards in here to make sure that it didn't bow, because when you're running this mill, if it bows down, it's going to mess up the top of your cut. But this is my first cut here, and it actually didn't come out too bad. You know, it's pretty level and everything. And this is actually a log of white oak. But let me get this thing fired up and I'll show you how it cuts. 2.5-inch slab. I'd say it's not too bad. If you're expecting it to be nice and smooth, don't get your hopes up. But this right here I can clean up and run through the planer. That's some pretty nice wood here. And since I have the depth set at about 2.5 inches, came in about 2.25, but not a big deal. Well, good on both sides. Thanks for watching.